Good morning, children. Today we'll be doing classification of crystalline solids. Crystalline solids are further divided into molecular solids, ionic solids, metallic solids, and covalent solids. The name or the classes are on the basis of the constituent particles which comprise these solids. For example, molecular solids are comprised of molecules, ionic solids are made up of ions, metallic solids are made up of metal atoms, and covalent solids are made up of, or network solids are made up of covalent bonds. The atoms or molecules are attached to each other by covalent bonds. On the basis of force of attraction between the molecular solids can be further classified into three categories: polar molecular solids, non-polar molecular solids, and hydrogen bonded molecular solids. Of the first one, let us take the example of non-polar molecular solids. Helium in solid state is a non-polar solid. The force of attraction between helium atoms is London force or force of dispersion, which occurs when instantaneously a dipole arrives in an otherwise neutral atom. For a very short period of time, all the electrons move to one end, making this end negatively charged, and other end is deprived of electrons, so it becomes partially positively charged. So at that particular instant, when there is a small dipole exists in this atom, at that instant the other end also, the electron movement occurs in that end, and the negatively charged end of the other atom gets attracted to the positively charged end of this otherwise non-polar helium atom, and the force of attraction that is developed is called London force because it was developed by London. So these solids are called non-polar molecular solids. Similarly, in case of polar molecular solids, the molecules have a dipole. It's a polar molecule. It has some dipole moment to it. For example, in hydrogen chloride, when it is in solid form, the negatively charged end of hydrogen chloride molecule, the Cl negative part, gets attracted to the H positive part of another HCl molecule. The force of attraction that occurs between the two molecules is a dipolar force of attraction. So such molecular solids are called polar molecular solids. So molecular solids are of three classes: non-polar, polar, and hydrogen bonded molecular solid. For example, water in solid state is a hydrogen bonded molecular solid in which there is a force of attraction between negatively charged oxygen atom of one water molecule and positively charged hydrogen atom of adjacent water molecule. The force of attraction between electronegative atom and hydrogen is called hydrogen bond. So when the molecular solids have hydrogen bond between them, then such molecular solids are called hydrogen bonded molecular solids. For example, solid water or ice, solid ammonia, these are examples of hydrogen bonded molecular solids. Second category, this was molecular solids. Second category is ionic solids. So ionic solids are comprised of ions. For example, this is a structure of sodium chloride where the blue colored smaller particles are sodium cations and the pink colored larger ions are chloride ions. The structure of this solid is such that negatively charged chloride ion is attached to or attracted to positively charged sodium ion, which is further attracted to negatively charged chloride ion on the other end. So in this manner, each chloride ion is attracted to 6 sodium ions, 4 on its 4 directions and one above and one below. Similarly, each sodium ion is attracted by 6 chloride ions. So this kind of solid is called ionic solid. The force of attraction is electrovalent forces of attraction, electrostatic forces of attraction which occur between oppositely charged ions. This is ionic solids. The third category of solids are metallic solids. Now in metals have very low ionization potential values, so they can very easily lose their electrons to form positively charged ions. So in the structure of a metal, a positively charged kernel lies in a sea of negatively charged electrons which are from these metal atoms only. So the negatively charged electron gets attracted to positively charged kernels and vice versa, and a force of attraction develops between them. This kind of force of attraction is called metallic bond. So because the metallic force of attraction is there, so this kind of solids are called metallic solids. The fourth category of solids is covalent or network solids. In covalent or network solids, the atoms are bonded to adjacent atoms by covalent bonds, strong covalent bonds, which are in all the directions, and these atoms, when attached to covalent bonds on all the 4 directions, they repeat themselves in such a way that a whole network of atoms is formed. Thus the name network solid is given to such kind of structures. Even in this, this is an example of a network solid of carbon. Here also you can have 2 categories. One where each carbon atom is attached to 4 other carbon atoms by covalent bonds. This is the example of diamond. The other structure is that of graphite, where each carbon atom is attached to 3 other carbon atoms by covalent bonds, and the 4th electron of carbon is held loosely in a van der Waals force of attraction between the with the layer below, present below this. This kind of structure is that of graphite. So in graphite, hexagonal rings with each carbon attached covalently to 3 other carbon atoms, 4th electron being involved in van der Waals force of attraction. So these both diamond and graphite are examples of network solids. So crystalline solids are categorized into molecular solids, ionic solids, metallic solids, and covalent or network solids. Now these 2 examples that we took of diamond and graphite, this phenomena, if it is in the case of element, that is the element in solid state is existing in 2 different forms, this phenomena is called allotropy, and the 2 forms of the same element are called allotropes. When the same phenomena occurs in other solids, then it is called polymorphism, where it is a compound. Here it was an element. If the allotropy is shown in compounds, then it is called polymorphism. So we'll discuss these 2 phenomena, isomorphism and polymorphism. When two compounds, they have different atoms, but they have the same crystalline form. The shape of both sodium phosphate and sodium arsenate is same. The crystalline structure is same. Then such 2 compounds are called isomorphs, and phenomena is called isomorphism. Whereas when the same compound can show 2 different crystalline structures, for example, calcium carbonate can exist in calcite form and in aragonite form, then this phenomena is called polymorphism. For compounds, the same compound is showing 2 different structures, it is called polymorphism. And in elements, when the same element is showing 2 different structures, it is called allotropy. So we can categorize the solids into 4 categories, and we can now compare the differences between all the four categories of these solids. So in molecular solids, the constituent particles are small covalent molecules. In case of molecular solids, the ions, in case of ionic solids, the constituent particles are ions. Then metal atoms in case of metallic solids, and non-metal atoms in case of covalent solids. Then the force of attraction in case of molecular solids, the force of attraction is dispersion or London forces for non-polar molecular solids, then dipole-dipole interaction for polar molecular solids, and hydrogen bonds for hydrogen bonded molecular solids. Then the bonding is strong electrostatic or Coulombic force of attraction for ionic solids, then metallic bonding between kernels and sea of electrons in case of metallic solids, and covalent bonds formed by sharing of electrons in case of covalent or network solids. The physical nature, generally because of the bonds, their physical properties differ. For example, non-polar molecular solids are generally soft. Similarly, polar molecules are also soft, but a bit harder than non-polar molecular solids. Then hydrogen bonded molecular solids are hard. Ionic solids are hard but brittle. They can break when hammered. So ionic solids are hard but brittle. But on the other hand, metallic solids, they are hard but not brittle. They are malleable, that is, they can be beaten down into sheets. They are ductile, that is, they can be drawn out into wires. खींच के लंबी तारें बना सकते हैं उनसे. This is ductility, ductile. और उनको पीट कर हम उनकी चादरें, पतली चादरें बना सकते हैं. That is malleability. So metallic solids are malleable and ductile. They are not brittle. Then covalent solids are hard, but the hardness varies according to the type of allotrope. For example, diamond is hard in comparison, graphite is soft. Then melting points, molecular solids, non-polar molecular solids have very low melting points. Polar have low but a bit higher than non-polar. Similarly, hydrogen bonded molecular solids have low but higher than earlier two molecular solids. Ionic solids have very high melting point of the order of about 1500 Kelvin. Metallic solids can have moderate to high melting points, that is between 800 to 1000 Kelvin. And covalent solids have very high melting points of the range of 4000 Kelvin. Then binding energy is less than 40 kilojoules per mole for molecular solids, all the molecular solids, and 400 to 4000 kilojoules per mole for ionic solids, 70 to 1000 kilojoules per mole for metallic solids, and binding energy is 150 to 500 kilojoules per mole for molecular solids. Then the typical electrical behavior, the molecular solids exists as insulators. The ionic solids behave as insulators or poor conductors of electricity in solid state, but in molten or aqueous solutions they behave as good conductors of electricity. The metallic solids are good conductors of electricity and heat both in solid state as well as in solution form. And covalent or network solids are generally insulators, but graphite is an exception. It behaves like a good conductor of electricity. So these are the classification of crystalline solids.